Grande.
What's going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. It is a Tuesday 3-game main slate starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Late night hammer, 10 p.m. Eastern. Thunder, Clippers close out the day. Denver, Philly open the show. And then in between, Sacramento against Phoenix here. So some Western Conference teams primarily filling out this slate with Philadelphia there at home kicking us off. Those of you who are tuning in, click that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Never miss a show when we go live here on the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. James, my buddy, how are we doing?
Doing well. We've spent the last few minutes here, not a few minutes, but getting the stresses out about Monday slate on to Cincinnati, aka Tuesday slate, which is an interesting slate in its own right, because we got word first from Philly, head coach Nick Nurse, after Joel Embiid went 40-10 and had 20 free throws in 3 quarters. Nick Nurse said, "Yeah, Joel should be good to play on Thursday." So Denver went out and said, "You know what? Would be even better if we list every single one of our 5 starters as questionable." Unless they were fighting each other, I'm not sure how that would be possible. That all 5 of them were all injured at the same time. But alas, all 5 of them are listed.
They all slept wrong on the plane, you know?
Every single one of them, correct. So that is kind of an insane thing that we're dealing with here.
At least they're the 7:30 game.
That is true. That would be a absolute. I would just take the night off.
I would advise the 10 p.m. game, right?
I would just advise everyone to not play. Like, you just can't play. OKC on the second leg of a back-to-back hasn't been as unpredictable as it was last year. I think last year was a nightmare trying to figure out OKC on a back-to-back. This year, not so much. Their guys have typically played. Maybe we'll get someone resting here and there, but it's a fun slate other than the Denver news. And honestly, maybe all of Denver's rolled in and we finally get the Jokic and Embiid matchup, because last year we didn't get it.
One thing on the OKC thing is at least they don't have to travel. They're playing the Lakers tonight. They're playing the Clippers tomorrow. So it's same stadium, same hotel. Like, they're there, not getting on a plane. So that is a benefit. The Embiid Jokic, do you just give the MVP to the winner of this game? Right? Like, I don't know. This is it, right? Joel Embiid had fallen down the MVP rankings because of the games played issue is basically it. He was plus 500 the last time I checked. I don't know if that's probably been updated since then, but Joker had become the betting favorite to win the MVP. But if Embiid is able to finish out this season without missing more than 8 games, I think is what he has left to go here, then to be eligible for the award, I mean, you're getting pretty good odds on the MVP here. And if they get a head-to-head matchup and Embiid gives you what he's been giving you, that's going to weigh pretty heavily, I think, on the minds of voters here. Should he be eligible? Well, when it came to the head-to-head, Joker and Embiid, they play the same position. Embiid went and gave you 45-10 or 30-10 or something like that in 3 quarters. Like, that won't be forgotten. So we're very interested to see how that matchup plays out. And then in between it, you have Sacramento, Phoenix. Phoenix just had a day where they all went off. Even Grayson Allen had 20 actual points the other night. And then we know what Sacramento's capable of doing with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, but lately Malik Monk has been going off. So we're going to break it down because it is 3 games, as we usually do. We're going to go game by game here. We're going to talk about each individual team, the players we like, what we like about the matchups, and we'll go forward from there. Any other thoughts before we jump into this, James?
No. On the Phoenix front, everyone going off. I don't know if you heard the comments from Bradley Beal, but they're not happy because they are like the worst 4th quarter team in the NBA, and they almost let Portland back into that game. So they definitely need to get better in that aspect. And Mr. 4th quarter and De'Aaron Fox is coming to town in that Phoenix game. So interesting to note there. But no, nothing else before we get into this.
So we're going to start game by game, team by team. That first team is the Denver Nuggets. Everybody is listed as questionable, but for the sake of this conversation, let's just assume they all play. And then if they're out, we can obviously, we know, I guess, where we would go if people get ruled in or out, depending on who it is that gets ruled in or out. So Nikola Jokic is 11.5, Jamal Murray is 8,300, MPJ 66, Aaron Gordon 61, KCP $4,600. Matchup against Philly here. This game currently sits with a total of, I had it and I clicked off, 227, and Philly is a 4-point home favorite here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Denver is the easiest team on the board. If all 5 of their starters play, that's the 5 you can play, right? Like, they don't really have much after the starting 5. Like, maybe you get to Reggie Jackson, who's played pretty consistent minutes, 20 plus in 4 straight games. He's 3,900. If Reggie Jackson makes a bunch of shots, then there's a ceiling there. But other than that, it's just the starting 5. And honestly, you probably rank them as they're priced. Aaron Gordon's price at 61 is very appealing because he's been pretty decent on a fantasy point per minute basis. But like, Michael Porter has a higher ceiling. Jamal Murray has obviously the ceiling Jamal Murray has, and Jokic is who Jokic is. So I would rank them as they're priced, and plus Reggie Jackson, and that's like the extent of the Denver talk for me.
On the Philly side here, obviously we assume everybody is in. If Joel Embiid is in, he and Maxey are very clear-cut top 2. If Joel Embiid gets ruled out, then obviously it becomes a little bit more interesting because you have Tobias Harris, you have Kelly Oubre, you have Paul Reed. There's definitely different ways you could go with the lineup if Embiid gets ruled out. But as we've seen, if Embiid is in, it's really a 2-man show here.
Yeah, I mean it really is, dude. 41 and this is another one. 41-10, and Houston again. We know Houston on the road. It was only 9. It was not a competitive game. That was a blowout. Embiid didn't play the 4th. Maxey did play 35 minutes. As the game gets a little closer, they kept Maxey in the game. But no one else really played. It is really a 2-man show. I will say, no DeAnthony Melton definitely opened up some extra minutes for Patrick Beverley in this game. He was very good off the Philadelphia bench for a second straight game. 29 minutes, 29 fantasy points. He's now gone for 24 plus fantasy points in 3 of 4. He's playing a bunch of minutes over that span as well. 20, the Atlanta game withstanding, 34, 13 in Atlanta, but 27 and 29 minutes. So 27 plus minutes for Patrick Beverley in 3 of the last 4. That's appealing. And kind of when you're talking about minutes, same thing can be said about Nicholas Batum. They lifted the minutes limit on Batum. Dude, that production's been super consistent for Batum as well. Like, if you want 2 cheap values to go with your Embiid Maxey plays, look no further than Batum and Beverley.
Yeah, obviously with Batum, it's an efficiency thing. He needs to hit his 4 shots,
Right.
Or else you're kind of falling off. The Beverley thing, I mean, I have a history of Patrick Beverley when it comes to the prop game. Like, some days he goes out there and he gives you 9 rebounds and 7 assists against Sacramento. You're like, where did that come from? And then the other day he goes and gives you 3 and 2, and you're like, great, this is what happens. Right. But yeah, I mean, 7 and 4, 7 and 9, 5 and 6, like, you're getting 10 plus rebounds and assists out of Beverley. Like, you're going to be pretty happy with that, because he's also a guy that is, for a lack of a better description, like, he's not a great offensive player, but he thinks he's better than he is. So he's not afraid to go shoot, right? And like, so you got 8 and 13 shot attempts in 3 of the last 4 games there when he's playing minutes. So again, he is not a good offensive player, but he's out there, he's Marcus Smart, he's probably a worse offensive player than Marcus Smart, but he's out there. He's not afraid to take the near double digit shot attempts. So
it's Marcus.
I mean, what, defensive player that can't shoot, but likes to shoot. I mean, I don't know. Like,
yeah, that's a funny, I'm not like saying you're wrong. I'm just,
that's a poor man's Marcus Smart, funny. Right? Like, it's
that's funny.
So anyways, that's Denver Philly. Should be a fun one if both those 2 guys play. Primetime television too, so we'll get to watch, which is nice to see. Sacramento Phoenix, this is the slate high game total in this one. I think it was like 242, I want to say.
242 and a half.
Yeah. So Sacramento side of things here, Sabonis, Fox, Monk. If Keegan Murray's in, obviously there's some potential for him there, given the way he had played prior to the hip injury. We saw Kevin Huerter the other day go absolutely nutty after barely playing for a stretch, got re-entered into the starting lineup, looked a little bit better, played the 1 minute against Charlotte because he got hurt there. 39 minutes, 26 and 10.
Dude, you can't make that up.
Cannot make it up. And then Trey Lyles here, as we know, one of our favorites for years. If Keegan's out, I mean, Trey Lyles, $4,800.
Started the second half of that game. That Keegan Murray left. So, yeah, I think this is another one that's like fairly straightforward. Obviously, you get to Sabonis, Fox, or Monk. I don't know why Monk's price is the way it is, but it probably should be hovering around the 7K range. I think as long as Malik Monk is priced anywhere mid-6, you just pull the trigger because, dude, I mean, he is just a flamethrower when he comes off the bench, and he's really good peripherally too. So it would be Sabonis, then Monk for me in terms of like favorites. Fox is obviously a guy with a massive ceiling, but he has not been as good other than the Milwaukee game. But again, Milwaukee guards, right? Porter 55. If there's no Keegan, that's fine. If Keegan plays, I mean, he's probably up there with Monk in terms of priorities, right? Because he's been awesome.
It's hard for De'Aaron Fox to have huge games when Monk and Keegan Murray are going for 20 plus actual each, right? So
while Sabonis is triple doubling and doing what he's doing. So I agree. Anything else that we would get to if Keegan's out?
But Harry Barnes is still playing minutes. 3-game slate. He's $4,700. If he gives you 20 fantasy points at 4,700, it's I wish he was cheaper, right? But it's not terrible.
Nick Batum or Harrison Barnes if there's no Keegan Murray.
Probably Harrison.
Batum's 5K.
Probably Harrison Barnes.
I'll split the difference. I'd go Batum. But if you need $300, obviously.
Like Batum will give you more peripheral stats. It's a better game environment for Phoenix, Sacramento, like game total wise.
That's fair. It is for sure.
So it's close. Close. Phoenix side again, another team that's kind of straightforward, right? You top 6 guys listed here, you can probably throw in a lineup and be generally okay with. I know Eric Gordon, $4,200 is a pretty good value. I know the numbers haven't panned out, but he is $4,200. He's not over 5K anymore, so could get hot. I mean, I always talk about Grayson Allen. Like, I don't mind playing Grayson Allen. Now, again, I get it. Usage rate, shot attempts have gone down since the big 3 are there. Andy's $5,800, so a little bit tougher of a price point, but you think Sacramento could be certainly a good matchup for him. Beal at 74, probably the best value overall.
Yes.
The minutes have been great. The shot attempts. This is the Beal I thought we would see when he came here.
Agreed. He's been really good. It was always like there's always going to be nights I think that Booker goes off, nights that Beal go off, nights that Kevin Durant go off. Durant is the most expensive. He's last couple of games, like he's paid off the price or the least amount, I would say. But I mean, Devin Booker has probably been the best of the 3 over the last 2 games. And Bradley Beal is obviously, like you said, the best discount. So, I'm okay getting any of them.
I prioritize Beal in this group, I think.
Probably Beal, Booker. I probably rank them in reverse order.
Yeah. Because we're going to try to spend up for Embiid, probably, right? If he's in
Embiid, or one of the 2 in that
or
game.
SGA, I guess. When we
get or SGA, yeah. That's a good point.
Getting Beal at $7,400 is a pretty good value for those lineups.
Interesting. And I'll just say this, and I don't know if it means anything, but I don't know if you saw SGA was listed as questionable with the knee. Do you remember we were talking about the knee? And I was like, I wish I had a sprained knee if I can go 37 and 7.
Yeah.
The final injury report said knee, and then there was a tweet from Underdog that said the shoulder, and I don't know if it was a missed tweet, but that I guess that's something to like. They fixed it. Yeah. They must have just messed up the tweet because they still have it up. Status alert: Shai Gilgeous-Alexander shoulder getting game time decision, And I was like confused, like, did he get another injury? Is there now we're dealing with a knee and a shoulder? But you know, that's but yeah, we're getting to OKC right now. I didn't mean to skip ahead, but
Yeah, no, I mean,
um,
we didn't skip ahead. We were
nothing
done.
else.
There was nobody else. There was
Chimezi
nobody else.
Metu revenge. Chimezi Metu revenge narrative.
Yeah, no, not unless people are
There
out.
is people out. Bull.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Thunder here. Thunder OKC versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers are giving 236 game total here. Obviously, it is a back-to-back for the Thunder, so we'll have to see if somebody was to sit. But giving this team at face value that they generally just play their guys, you want to talk revenge narratives? We have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander against Clippers, who traded him to the Thunder for Paul George in a package. He went for 59 in his first meeting against this team here. Yeah, he's SGA. I felt like if you didn't go Embiid, like I feel like on this 3-game slate, I would be starting builds with Embiid, Monk, and Beal. But if you wanted to go SGA, Monk, and Beal, like that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, I agree. I would say those two guys, SGA and Embiid, are probably the two guys that you would play in any matchup because they can score against literally anybody. Like it doesn't matter if it's a tough matchup. Like the Clippers are a good defensive team. It doesn't matter. And Denver is a good defensive team. Doesn't matter. So I agree. I would lean Embiid as well. I would lean Embiid as long as there's no limit. But I have no problem pivoting to SGA if that's it's $1,000 difference. So if you need to save $1,000, like that's perfectly
Agreed.
fine.
Chet's here could have a matchup where Vika Zubac isn't in for the Clippers, so that's something to.
He's out. He's already ruled out.
Well, then there you go. So is that
out.
what Plumlee and Tice then?
Plumlee and Tice. Yeah, Plumlee actually played the other day, which he was has been active, and he's only played sparingly, but he got extended the other day. They started Tice, so I assume
feels like a good matchup for Chet.
Feels like
feels like a good matchup. Feels like a good matchup.
Feels like a very good matchup for Chet. I assume that's the direction they go again. They're gonna go with Tice starting and then Plumlee off the bench, but the Thunder are the Clippers are also okay going small.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough. They will go small against teams. So you may see Tice start and you may see Plumlee come off the bench. And then they go Kawhi at the 5.
Tice is a little bit of a small ball center anyways, because he stretches the floor out a bit, but Chet plays that game, right? He's not afraid to play outside. So good spot. Obviously, Jalen Williams. The Giddey back-to-back is going to be infuriating because we just don't know what the minutes are going to be. But he started this game tonight off like gangbusters. He's a fantasy point per minute freak, but he's $6,800 now on a second night of a back-to-back. That feels a bit tight. But if someone's out, then maybe there's more interest.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I would say it's overall hard to talk about the anything outside of the big 3 for the Clippers or the Thunder until we know more, right? Because, like you said, getting on a back-to-back impossible. Dort 54, that's nah. And then even the guys like Isaiah Joe's priced up. Cason Wallace for no reason is $5K. That's just them getting ahead of maybe SGA sitting it for that pricing. So I don't have a lot of interest in anything other than maybe something to note here, John. They do like to go small when there is a non-traditional big on the up.
Sure.
The Thunder went Jalen Williams with a Y, or Jalen Williams with a Y as their backup center. When they don't play a big center, they go Kenrich Williams, maybe a Kenrich Dart in a tournament, because he is a relatively good fantasy point per minute guy at times. So just again, searching for value, maybe a Dart on Kenrich Williams.
Obviously, a little foul trouble coming into play here in this Thunder Lakers game, but there are already 6 guys deep on their bench for the Thunder tonight.
They play every back-to-back. They play 11 guys. Every clockwork 11. Micic plays.
Micic has 8. Their bench right now has Jalen Williams with a Y playing 6 minutes. Dieng played 8 minutes and picked up 2 fouls after Chet picked up 2 fouls. Kendrick has 4. Joe has 8. Micic has 8. And Casey Wallace has 12. The only starters not to play double-digit minutes right now, Giddey and Dort both sitting at 7 with 3 minutes to go in the half. So, they'll get the final sub, I would imagine.
Look at Giddey's line. He played 7 minutes and he has not checked.
Yeah, it's other just called the timeout at the 4-minute mark. So I imagine Giddey checks back in here and plays the final 4 minutes of this, but 3, 5, 2, and 1 for Giddey in 7 minutes. Just a wild stat line for him there. All right, Clippers side of this game. Again, you have Kawhi, you have George, you have Harden. I like playing Norm Powell as a value play, $5,100. And I guess you could probably give Tice a look if he's going to play the 20-plus minutes, but I don't know. I don't think I've played Westbrook once this year when everybody's been healthy. I don't know how you feel about that. I know he's coming off of a monster game against Minnesota there, but everybody's in. I don't think we see that happen.
Well, I mean, it just speaks to what the Clippers are going to do, because what are they going to do without Zubats, right? They went the big 3 plus Westbrook plus Norm. Yep. That was what they did, because Norm was unconscious, 6 of 9 from 3. I actually played him on this slate, and he was really good. No peripheral stats, but when you're 9 for 12 and 6 for 9 from 3, it doesn't matter. If the Clippers elect to go small, dude, Jalen Williams is a 6'7" power forward.
Yep.
And Chet is a big, 6'10" athletic
center.
He's 7'2". He's 7'2" athletic, and that obviously could present a problem. But it's kind of like what we talked about with Utah, and Utah spacing the floor. They're taking their centers off the floor, and they're just spacing and they're just scoring. Maybe that's something that happens here, right? And I don't know.
I feel like it's tough to bank on the 13 assists in 29 minutes for Westbrook there, but I mean,
sure,
he did against Minnesota, which we consider to be a tough matchup. So I guess I can see past the getting to him. I don't think Westbrook is if I make a solo lineup, finds his way in there. I'd rather play Norm, but maybe I'm off on that. Maybe I just, the idea that we're going to get repeatable performances from Westbrook here when he hasn't been playing a lot, hasn't really been all that good at times this year. I don't know.
He, and I wonder if it had something to do with the blowout. He almost triple-doubled against OKC. 12-23 or 12. What was the date on that? 12. What was the date of the OKC game? 12-21. 12-21.
115, 130. They lost by 30, by 15 in that game.
So he didn't close.
15, 13, and 4 for him in that game.
He played a lot off the bench. A lot. They just play him when they're just comfortable playing him when he gets going, and that's kind of
tournament play for 3 games.
Yeah, tournament play for 3 games for sure.
All right, let's build a lineup here. I said I wanted to go Embiid. I imagine you're not arguing with me on that one.
No.
Okay, so we'll go Embiid. Let's see what we can do with Embiid, Monk, and Beal lineup that I mentioned here. Where is he? There we go.
I have to play Tice or Beverly.
Tice is 44.
Trey Lyles at 48. Who's gonna play regardless, but 48 is not the best, but we can. It's fine.
Point guard here.
You not want to play Beverly?
Oh, we can play Beverly. That's fine. It gets us two guys there. Small forward, 5,400. Norm.
Yep.
58 forward. The two of them? You like?
No, just click. I was gonna say click Grayson. I know you want to.
Well, I mean, I don't mind it. I don't mind that move. If we went the SGA way, we obviously have a little bit more cash. We can go Tice here, SGA, and that goes to $1,100, $6,800. It'd give us MPJ, or I guess probably MPJ of this group, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So Beverly, Beal, Powell, Lyles, Tice, Monk, Porter, SGA. If we weren't going the Embiid route, if we go the Embiid route here, and obviously there's some maneuvers that could be made if you want to go about it. We have, what did I do wrong here? I'm Jang. That's what I did. 5150. Do we have like a more fair balance on a build? Probably not. Grayson, and then we did 4400, which was Tice. So just an example lineup for everybody. 3 games are going to be on the main slate. Sean Mitchell will be on your playbook. If you have any questions, get us in the Discord, find us on Twitter. We'll be back live 5 o'clock Eastern time, breaking down everything that goes on throughout the day, the news, the happenings. Hopefully Denver will have everybody active for their game. But check the Discord. We'll be there. We'll talk to you later.